So now the practice is going to be, I'll be talking about one element, showing you examples of these three papers or two papers as and when applicable, because for few I have kept all the three, for few I have kept only two of them, and then we will be discussing what are the aspects that we should be writing. So when you talk about literature review, let us you should ideally begin by creating a literature matrix. Now, a literature matrix, so when you are doing a literature review, these are few things that you should always document, because when you do a literature review, you will not be able to remember all of them. So I would really recommend, or I would really urge you all to create a literature matrix wherein you document all of them. That's article, author, paper title, journal name, year, country. So, somebody was like, how do we identify? Somebody asked me in the beginning. So identification can also be done from here, because if you maintain a literature matrix, you will be able to get a list of all the journals where these papers have been published. So from that also you will be able to figure out which are the journals which could be possible outlets for your research paper publication. So these are few things that you should be documenting: sample response, data collection method, and so on. And if you create an Excel sheet for having all these things, this is how it would look, right? So if you see, I've just put a screenshot of a small section, otherwise it's a very, very lengthy Excel. But try to create a literature matrix before you start writing a literature review, because that will give you a lot and lots of clarity when you're writing your findings, when you're writing a discussion section. Because in discussion section, you have to highlight how your findings are similar or how they are different from others who have done something of similar kind. So if you're able to do that, a literature matrix of this sort helps you a lot. Let us go to an example of literature. So these are few observations that I'll bring to you in form of a PDF. So there are three papers. I hope the PDF is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Thank you. So first I'll just give you a quick background of the paper that I'm talking about, so that it becomes a bit, easy for all of us to connect to. So the first paper that I have titled, like I've shared, I'm sorry, not titled, I shared, happens to be What Drives Students Towards ChatGPT, an investigation of factors influencing adoption and usage of ChatGPT. So this paper was trying to find out what factors influence students because of which they are adopting ChatGPT for educational purpose. So that's the first paper. The second paper that I have shared happens to be Beyond Sustainability Narrative, exploring Gen Z's shopping motivations in vintage fashion. So the second paper is about why Gen Z is, like, what motivates Gen Z to buy vintage fashion, and which then leads to sustainability. And the third paper that I have shared happens to be Adolescents and Handholding Advertising, the role of brand familiarity and smartphone attachment in the process of mobile advert games. So it's talking about brand familiarity and their attachment to smartphone. So all three very generic papers I've selected. These papers I'm sharing because they are open access papers, and they're not authored by me, so I can only share open access papers with you, but there has to be something on the basis of which we discuss, and that's why I've selected these three papers. Now let me talk about the literature section. So ideally a literature section should start with defining the construct, and maybe a bit talk about what has been done, right? Then it is essentially important. One of the reason why most of the paper get a lot of revisions or rejection happens to be when there is no theoretical framework or theoretical pinning being used for coming up with a research. So the second thing the literature review should talk about is what is the theoretical framework that has been used, and then it should talk about what has been done, what were the findings in the previous research, and then how do you formulate the hypothesis. So that is how a literature review section should look like. Now this is from paper number 1, that is chat gpt 1, wherein they start with research into chatbots have grown in academic literature. So it is talking about what has already been done. So this highlights that you see here, I have just written it so that I'm able to connect and tell you. And then this entire paragraph is talking about what has happened, how things are being perceived, which I have not highlighted. I've just highlighted the major things. And then they say there are studies wherein they have used TAM, that is technological acceptance model, and this is a very good model to be used. And because it has been used multiple times and it is relevant and all of that, we also in our study we are going to use TAM, that is technological acceptance model. So here, if you look at these 4, 5, 6 lines that I have highlighted here, it is talking about what is the theory, why is this theory important from this perspective of research that we have picked up, and I am also using it. So they are giving a very, very clear foundation that TM is being used, why, what is it, why it is used, and how we are going to use it. So that is the second section that we should be having. Now, what has been done? That is how you identified for chat GPT and chatbots. Then you talked about the theory that is being used by you. Now, then comes a section wherein you slowly start talking about each of the variables that you are using in the research, and then you start connecting ki, oh, this is a study which was like this variable was studied by XYZ. For example, Lin et al in 2007, and they also found this. Davies told this. D. Luna told this. Bashir and Madhavia told this, and so on and so forth. So then you define the variable, what it is, explain the variable, and then try to show that what was done in the past, how was this variable related to the context that you are studying, and then you propose your hypothesis. So I've just pasted one paragraph, but if you have the paper with you and if you can scroll through, you would see small sections like this being written by them. Any queries till this point of time? Then we move to paper 2 and 3.
We'll move.
Yeah, okay. I'm not able to see any thumbs ups, so because this is on full screen mode, so please do let me know if there is any queries or confusion. Now, second literature, the second paper, which was on sustainability, so it was talking about Gen Zs and all. So what they did is they started with defining what Gen Z is. They gave the theory. They said we are defining Gen Z based on generational cohort theory. So why I'm highlighting this is because I want you to understand that nowadays, at least in our domain, it's very, very important that research should have some theoretical base. So they're talking about that there is something called generational cohort theory, according to which Gen Zs are well educated, they're innovative, they're creative, they're connected with technology, social media. So what they're doing is they're narrowing down. So it's like a funnel, they talk about what it is, who are these people, why are they related to this particular topic. So you have to create that sense of rationality. You have to give them a sense of importance as to why this topic is very important, and it draws back to the theories that you are referring to. So that's how the second paper has done. So there is this theoretical framework that they have talked about. Then they are talking about the concept and the context. That is why Gen Z's and sustainability is important. For example, see, to connect it with sustainability, there is a very beautiful line that they have written, which I have also highlighted, that Gen Z's perceive consumption as an expression of one's identity, favoring brands that align with their current or desired self-image. Clothes are the first type of independent purchases they make, and they use fashion to express themselves. So just see how beautifully they have connected Gen Z's purchase pattern for clothing, sustainability, environment analysis, awareness, values, and so on. So that is how they have done. In the same paper, they are talking about vintage fashion. So they have not assumed that everybody on earth would be aware about vintage fashion. So that is why they have started by defining the construct. Vintage fashion is somewhat problematic. Broadly speaking, this term is used to cover blah, blah, blah. So they are then explaining what vintage fashion is. And then they are talking about how consumers, now see, what have been the relation? Consumers are drawn to vintage fashion for multiple reasons from ethical perspective. So sustainability angle has been brought in by them. So if you look at paper two, I really loved the way the second paper has been, written. That's absolutely wonderful for every sections. If you are from management domain, or if such type of things happen in your area also, because they have not at all assumed that people are aware. The readers might not be aware. So they have started off with by drawing a base just in 2 to 3 lines, but they have beautifully come to a point when they are able to relate all the concepts: Gen Z, sustainability, vintage fashion, and so on. So that's a very beautiful way of writing a literature. Can I move to the third paper? I assume yes.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So the third paper was on smartphones and all. So here also they have talked about, so this paper, there is a difference, because this paper is not based on survey. It's an experiment based paper. So somewhere what they have done is, like, they have talked about theoretical framework, but it is at not extremely in the beginning, it is somewhere in the middle. So I have highlighted that and only picked up that particular space, which says that, which in line with persuasion knowledge model and cognitive capacity model. So they're talking about two different models, and then they are trying to connected to the argument that they have kept for themselves. So they have named the theory, and then they have mentioned in this paper why this theory has been used by them, what makes them use this particular theory. So the moral, why I'm showing you these three papers is because the moral of the story is, when we are writing our literature review, um, how we are going to have the elements flow depends also on us as writers, but also depends on the journal requirements. All the three papers, if you see, they are not from same journals, they are from different journals, and hence their writing styles are different. But you would see certain common patterns. What are the common patterns that you observe is, all of them are talking about theory, all of them are talking about what was the discussion before, what is it today, what is the gap that is there, and why understanding them is important. So that is how a literature review has to be structurized. So my take on this entire stuff is somewhere like this, that when we are creating a literature review, we should first create this literature matrix. From our literature matrix, we should be in a position to identify the research gaps or literature gaps. They are very, very important. We should be very clear as a researcher that what is the gap that we are answering, how are we answering it, and why are we doing it. So importance comes only when there is a gap. We should be very clear from the gaps. We should be very clear about the research questions and objectives that we are formulating for our research. These two things would help, like, would come from the matrix. If you are able to prepare, it would be very easy for you to identify them. Based on this, we should have our literature themes. Now, what do I mean by themes is, if you can just scroll through paper one, that is chat gpt 1, you would see a lot of sections that have been made in there for literature review. So it starts with section number 2, that is literature review, development and hypothesis, and they have their 2.1